Oh, it's just up the road. Well, that's kind of handy. And fill up again on the way back. Stuck behind the cement truck. But of the, hard crops, if you like, I do indulge in sugar beets from time to time. And so this farm does feature at least one sugar beet field. Last year it featured 2. I think that was a mistake. Although they are very valuable and good sources of income. Well, sorry, sugar beets are not very valuable, but you harvest so many of them that they're good sources of income. Anyway, let's now I need to turn the blinky lights off because we don't need them running. And I think what I'm going to do is I'll run around the outer edge of the field with this because we're right on the edge of the map, so there's going to be issues with the map border. And then once that's done, we can GPS our way through the middle as much as is needed. And we're positioned way over here. So I still should consider upgrading our spraying equipment at some time. In general, I'm more comfortable with this style because it's right on the back of the tractor and doesn't get itself wrapped around trees for the most part. Trailed sprayers can get a little bit tricky at times. The self-propelled ones are so expensive. I got this one because it's got the wide width. But it's just because the edge of the fields are so close, you just have to make one bad turn and you're ending up with your boom wrapping around a tree. Yes, although on this map, because it's got a silo, I use the silo. But you can store grains in barns. In fact, we stored the sugar beets in the flat area out the back of the farmhouse, between the main yard and the sheep field. And for the most part, the beets stayed inside that area, which is walled. As I said, we'll go for a little run around the farm when we get back. We're down to about half a tank of fuel, so we need to watch that too. Okay, so this is the edge of the map, and another reason why it can be problematic. There is a good chance I will wrap this boom around the map border if I'm not careful. This map also has a special script on the hedges. So if there is not a fence in the hedge, you can drive through it. But bales cannot pass. And this was back in Farm Sim 17, I think it was the Chellington map, is a very, very interesting contoured map. And so you would come into a field like this, you'd mow it, you'd make a bunch of round bales, and the round bales would disappear through the hedge in the bottom. And 20 hours of gameplay later, you'd come round a corner on a street and come across these bales all huddled in the middle of the road, and would potentially wreck whatever you're driving at the time. And so I'm not sure who did it, but Oxygen David and Bullet Bill did end up installing on all of their maps a script that prevents bales from travelling through hedges. Now, if you've got a bale on a front loader and you raise the front loader up to full height so the bale clears the hedge, you can drive through the hedge with your tractor. But bales on the back of trailers and stuff like that, they just come to a complete stop, and the first time it happens is usually quite amusing, because the track, if you're hauling a trailer with bales on, the tractor goes through the hedge, and then the bales hit the hedge, and the whole thing just buckles in the middle, as you are brought to a grinding halt. But it is good, because it does mean that if you were to bale a field like this one, all of the bales would end up at the bottom of the hill. Does mean you've got a fair ways to go to okay, now this is going to be interesting to guess. But, let's go around there. And try and keep it straight across, I guess. Go. So, yeah. However, if you're using one of the bale trailers like what we've got, I'm using an Anderson square bale pickup trailer. Because those are not real bales on the back of it, they're what I call images of bales. They're a way a computer programmer can persuade you something's there, but the physical aspects of the object aren't in the game at the time. When you unload the trailer, it turns all of the images back into real bale objects. So those bale trailers can drive through a hedge without any problems. Okay, let's see if we can do this. I'm going to turn the sprayer off for a minute. We will auto mix again. Now, how do I rotate it? I don't know. Okay, let's just set A. And turn the sprayer back on and proceed. Because there's really just otherwise. Turn it off, bring it up. Oh, there's the planes. Cool. Okay. I have no idea the path they take, but anyway. What GOS mod is that I'm using? What is that called? It's GPS. It's, help me here, guys. What is the GPS mod called? It's available on the mod hub. That much I know. So let's turn that on and get driving. Okay. It would say in keyboard mapping. There we go. EVAL, follow me, autoloader, quick camera. Oh, I can't remember. It's on the mod hub. Guidance steering, that's the one. Thank you, Hail Team. Yeah, guidance steering. So basically, whoa. And it's a replacement for the Farm Sim 17 GPS mod, and it is very helpful when you're doing. You have, and that's the other thing with the guidance steering. You have to pay to install GPS on a tractor. It costs 25,000. So I don't have it on my Fendt. I don't have it on my Lindner. I'm not sure. I think I have it on at least one of my big tractors, but maybe not both. And the reason I have it on this Valtra is because I'm always doing crop spraying with the Valtra. And to make the coverage as efficient as possible, obviously, if I'm doing, fields just being planted, let's get out there and spread stuff on the field, I tend not to go for guidance steering, because I can do that by eye, because you can see where the spray or manure or whatever, lime, is covering. So you can just adjust your rows accordingly. But when the crops are growing this big, you can't see the texture changes between applications, and so it kind of does make sense to have GPS installed on at least one tractor and use that tractor for this purpose. But remembering it's 25,000 per tractor, that's a lot of money to stick in a tractor. This is a mid-sized tractor, about 200 horsepower. So the cost of the tractor plus GPS is a small percentage. But you get something like a Massey Ferguson 5700, and the cost of that tractor's 90,000, and then you're adding 25 for GPS. It's you better be using it, because that's a lot of money to sink into such a small tractor. But yeah, I used GPS in Farm Sim 17 and quite enjoyed it. I haven't explored all of the possibilities of it here. I haven't remapped. I don't think I've remapped my set A, set B waypoints at all. Which I probably should consider. Okay, how are we doing on this field? Because I haven't looked. Oh, yeah, it's a little bit blotchy, but we've probably got one more row to go. We're at 72%. We might have a few more than one more row to go. You can disengage it by turning the steering wheel too hard, which is how I tend to disengage it. I've got re-engage on Alt X, so we don't have to pull up that little window for it. It took a little bit of getting used to, because in 17 it was Alt W, I think, turned on and off GPS. I've also got another driving enhancement mod. You see the up and down arrows over the speedometer, and the up arrow is green. That changes how driving works. So normal game, you have W is forward, S is backwards. If you're going forwards, S is braking, and if you're going backwards, W is braking. Well, I drive with the steering wheel and pedals, and I hate driving backwards, pressing the brake button, and driving, the whole moving your hands around on the wheel, or moving your feet to the wrong pedals. So what this mod does is it makes a direction of travel. So I've just selected reverse, and now when I push the accelerator, which on a keyboard would be W, on my foot pegs it's the accelerator key. It does mean that it feels like I'm driving better, Unfortunately, the guidance steering doesn't play with that. So when I'm under guidance steering, when the center line is green dots, forward is the accelerator, backwards is the brake. But yeah, I can live with that because most of the time when GPS is on, I'm driving forwards. And I can always stick it on cruise control. Anyway, we should be almost finished here. Stick it on cruise control and actually have a look. Yeah. So I'm guessing we get to the end of this row and we're done. And 3, 2, 1, go, done. Turn that off, turn off the guidance steering, okay. Now I have to engage forward. Oh, well, we can get paid for that too. Thanks for the money. So we're up to 70,000 money, that's good. Yes, that exactly like that. The problem is I can't remember if it's in enhanced driving mod or something like that. Now there are some others out on the mod hub that came out more recently, which I really haven't got involved with, which allow you to select diff lock and four-wheel drive and other things. And like I said, I haven't installed those. I haven't played around with those. Other YouTubers like them. I found this one to be perfectly adequate, and it was released very early on in the FS19 sort of life cycle. We're probably talking, FarmSim came out in December, and probably by about March this particular mod was made available, and I loaded it and said yes, I can now drive like real world driving. And so I never bothered looking at any of the others. And that's kind of how I am. If I find a mod I like, I'll keep it. If I find a mod I don't like, I'll uninstall it. But I then get used to having those mods around. So I've got a mod in the top right hand corner which has the time on it. And that's real time where I am, it's 9:50. And that mod was available in 17. I have played with it in 17, I've played with it in 19. It's a mod I always install because when I'm playing the game, I'm not necessarily looking at any other computer screens, so all my clocks are hidden, and it helps to know, it's, and you'll see later on when we come to the end of, I was going to get some fertilizer, let's do that. So driving through a hedge, not a problem, because there's no fence in it. Now if there's a fence in the hedge, you bounce on it, or a wall. But these hedges you can drive through. So that does kind of help with spraying equipment and what have you, because hedges won't catch on the spray boom. Trees do, lampposts do, some street signs do. It's usually a good idea to say respect the street signs, because if you think, that one's not real, you tend to find out it is rather quickly, and then you have to mess around, and you can get yourself caught on them. Phone poles in fields are not collision objects, which is kind of handy because it does mean that workers don't get all crazy because there's a phone pole in the field. That is full. Okay, let's put that and fill up the back one. So I think I spent the first game year on this map just treating the phone poles as I have to drive around them, but we're into our third year now, and I'm kind of I'm just going to drive through them because it's so much easier. But it is frustrating with when you know, you've got a lot of obstacles in the middle of a field, and you're just forever wrapping your seed around it or whatever, and it's... You can respect it if you want, but if you're rushed for time, you can skip it. It's kind of like auto-load trailers. I'm not currently playing with any of the UAL scripted auto-load trailers. And I did do in Lawfolds, but we were producing 750 bales a year on that map, and so I'm not going around and manually stacking 750 bales 3 times a year. That's just crazy. I wanted to, you know, I want the farm to progress, so the easiest way to do that is just drive around the field with a UAL auto-load trailer and have the bales magically beam on the back of the truck. I'd usually, you know, I'd take a front loader down there and just say, well, the front loader's here, and look, if I could, I'd have some workers pick up the bales and stack them on the back of the trailer while I'm doing something else. But I can't do that, so I'm going to make it as easy as possible. I think we'll go back this way because we left the gate open. I don't usually come in this way, but basically because the tree's in the way and I can't see a darn thing. Let's get in the tractor and go for a roller coaster ride down this lane. Like I said, it's something like enhanced driving or something like that. I can't remember the exact name of it. I could possibly do I usually do a mod review at the end of the series when we're switching to the new farm sim game. I'll go through, I will mention every mod that I have used long term now. I will sometimes load a mod and try it out and say, yeah, okay, not for me. So I won't include those, and I remove them from the game save. But any mod that's on the in the game save at the end of the series, I'll go through and I'll say, this is the mods I'm using, and thank you very much, mod maker. I'll name the mod maker and just say, yeah, thank you for producing these. They've been excellent. I've enjoyed using them. So we're back at the farm, and we were going to review. This is the lime tower. This is new for Farm Sim 17, and it does work. This here is the fuel tank. Also was available on 17, also does work, and that is refueling my truck. I believe, I can't remember whether that was a seed or a fertilizer. I think it was a seed store. And so the, let's reverse back again. So this point here used to be the autofill for your seeders. And but it's, as I said, he's replaced it with a lime tower. You can fill up your lime from there. Now, these 3 here are the wool spawn points. So if you have sheep, they will spawn wool here. If you're playing with seasons, they only spawn wool during the summer, during the spring. Ugh. And they breed new sheep during the spring too. This area here was where I stored 1 million litres of beets at the end of last year. And the collisions worked very well. The beets stacked up this wall at the back. There was a very slight bleed out on the left side of the wall, but I used the belts to load up the truck, so all 1 million litres of beets were removed. Okay, so we've done those bits. We come over here. Oh, that is your... can't get the angle. This bit here is the vehicle workshop. So you can go in there and fix your vehicles. Driving further, we have cow slurry. This is where the cow slurry spawns. So you need a slurry tank and cows, obviously. Nothing around here, that's my seed store. That point there, FS19 for milk. If you don't have cows, it doesn't work. This point here, you have where the gate is, buying cows. So I can buy cows there, or unload a truck there. And this is the water point, so that's that marker is denoting where to put your water. Can't remember if that hay circle thing actually is for hay. So that's all the cow area. So far most of these have worked. We'll jump out of the tractor. That's a bale sell point. BGA's worth more. That, I don't know what that is. That's a handy place to store the manure from the cows, but the manure will spawn in here, so you have to shovel it yourself. Food fill trough there, and I think you spray your straw over that way, but there's no marker for that. I can get out. That's not a real trailer. So that's pretty much, that's the cow area. The big gripe was down here. Where is it? Okay, this point here that's clearly marked out. Liquid fertilizer, except not in FS19. That's a holdover from FS17 and never got removed. Might be water, I don't know. But as far as I'm aware, that's not an activation point of any description. Then over here we have the sheep, buy point at the gate, and then food and water. I've got the what is it? The enhanced animal extension, something like that. So that comes with a little pipe, so you can fill up your water trough. You feed your sheep on this side. They make a mess on that side. So having a sweeper I don't think it works very well, because while you can scoop up that, you have to empty it on this side. I don't bother cleaning the sheep out during not winter and fall, not winter or spring, because frankly the sheep don't make any money for me, so having additional production isn't a thing. But during spring we religiously keep that area clean, because otherwise it impacts the amount of wool they're producing. We did make 30,000 pounds from wool this year. Anyway, so let's reverse this up. Oops. And clean it, because it is looking decidedly shabby. So the equipment we've used so far today, the Kverneland sprayer is from the Kverneland DLC, Kverneland Vicon DLC. The Valtra is a mod pack that included the A, N, T and S, and comes with, as I understand it, factory Valtra paint colours. So we have ours in a nice metallic silver. You can also get it in flat grey, and then metallic and flat red, yellow, green, blue, white and black. I think I got all of them. I might have missed one. There might be an orange as well in there somewhere. Unfortunately you can't get front loader arms to match, so not doing it. Yeah, that's not a thing. What else do we have on the farm now? Plant that in Now we can jump out. So in here we have